some of it not relevant, and then the other parts of it, it seems like you're trying to, I guess, again, I felt like they were trying to sabotage me on that day, and I'm like, where did this come from? And so, I don't know really how that related to, being challenged, but, I guess now I see how, that affected me.
So that was at the end. So you had done everything.
Yeah,
so that was that the last thing you had to do, or?
Mm-hmm.
So
that was the last thing.
So you were done after that. I mean, you were.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's great. So how did you? I mean, I know you mentioned you had a medical condition, and you were taking all these hard classes and things like that. Well, how did you maintain your motivation and positivity through all of this? Because it must have been, going back to, you had challenges, you had illnesses, a serious illness.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you just maintain to say, okay, no, most people would have, I should say most people, some people would have just said, oh, I got a bachelor's degree, I'm good. But you had all of these things.
I think a lot of it is just ambition, and then the other part is, the main reason that I kept pushing was like, I'm a person of faith. I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed, and I was like, God, I can't let this thing beat me, and I not finished school. I had to, it was something like I had resolved in my mind that I had to do it. No one in my immediate family at the time had finished school. I had a few cousins on either side of my family that had finished undergrad, and so I was the first person that was going to be going to get a master's. And even in my immediate family now, only my mom finished her associates. Both of my brothers didn't finish school, and I've just always been very driven. And the other thing that I think back to also is, at the time my dad was still alive, but one of the things he had always told me was to figure out what I wanted to do so I wouldn't spend my life doing something I hated. And I took what he said to heart, in addition to, prayer and faith in that. I had to finish. It was not an option to me to not finish college and to not, get my master's, because I knew I needed to. It just wasn't an option.
Now, was your father still alive when you got your master's degree?
Yeah, he was able to see me, graduate. And so I'm the only child of his that graduated from college at the time. Okay. Well, as of now.
And he still has, and he was there to see you get your master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So, and you talked about this a little bit with your father and with your other role models. So, in looking on your graduate degree, who do you think was the people or the most influential in helping you complete your master's degree?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't really say that. Again, it's kind of like, my parents weren't really the most verbally encouraging, like I said. Of course that conversation I had with my dad, resonated with me, but it's I don't know. In my mind, I had to finish. I guess because when I initially went to college, knowing that I had either wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, and neither of those two things panned out, I knew I had to do something as far as, to me, I guess a bachelor's wasn't enough. This is at the time when, going to college and getting a bachelor's was I guess, I wouldn't say nothing, but it was just kind of okay, you went to college. And they were it was that whole push for higher education at the time versus now where it's not really the same. And so I knew I had to get my master's, and just thinking I knew that one day I wanted to be able to, I guess, make a lot of money, and I felt especially in tech at the time, that I needed to at least have a master's.
Okay. Any encouraging peers, close friends? You talk about your you talk about your family a lot. Any particular peers? No.
No, like I have my best friend, but no, they weren't really like. I wouldn't say they were like encouraging, but I think it was kind of like understood at the time. Now I will say, and I haven't mentioned that I went on to back in 2012. I started law school. I still haven't completed it all the way yet, but I will say I noticed a difference then, like when I went to law school versus when I was in school the other time. Like, I didn't really have friends that pushed me. Like, everybody just knew I was smart and, I was driven versus when I started law school. Like, I really had friends encouraging me, telling me they believe in me, and that wasn't, and even, I will even still say, like, my mom wasn't really very encouraging, and I don't know if it was because she didn't receive any encouragement herself. But I've always, according to her, I've always been like the kind of person that if I made my mind to do something, I did it. And so I noticed a very clear difference then, when I went to law school and versus, the other times I was in school.
Now, are you still in law school, or are you going to go back, or?
Well, actually, I have 1 year left, so I have to move back to Charleston to be able to finish because I wanted to, again, I still want to remain technical, and I have a few ideas for like a tech startup with law that I'm going to do once it's all said and done. But I started school in New Orleans, and I did 2 years there. Then I moved back to Charleston, and I did a semester there. But the team that I was working on was really, really stressful. And then I was also paying for school out of pocket. In addition to loans. And so I was out for a year there, and then I moved here to Charlotte, and I was still out for about a year and a half, and I went back last summer, and I did the summer semester in the fall, but the school I was attending here just closed. And so I have, like I said, I have to go back to Charleston to finish, and I have to finish within this next year. Otherwise, I'll have to start all over because of how the ABA does things. You have to finish within 84 months. So I have to go back to finish.
Yeah. Now, what school did you go to, if I may ask?
So I started law school at Loyola, New Orleans.
Okay.
And then I transferred, when I moved back to South Carolina, to Charleston School of Law.
Uh-huh.
And then I transferred here to Charlotte School of Law. And Charlotte School of Law is the one that closed. And I've been talking to the school down in Charleston, and they told me pretty much that I can come back, and I just have to reapply, and I can go back down there.
Okay, good.
Excuse me.
Charleston, Charlotte. You like those CHs?
Honestly, I guess I think the only reason I ended up having to come here, it's probably because I ended up, me and my son's father and having a baby. But I think that's about it. Because other than that, I don't really see why. I came up here and the school is now closed. So I thought I was going to at least finish there. And I had a full scholarship at this school to finish. But they do with their accreditation and licensing and stuff. So...
yeah. Well, go back and finish. You're still young. So
I'm gonna try.
You'll do it. I know you will. And then if we go, I said we went through cognitive, social. We went to institutional influences. You talked about in graduate school your professors.
Yeah, definitely them.
Any particular professors who encouraged you?
Honestly, all of them.
And then just one other thing. Also, who encouraged you, and can you well, first of all, to start out with describing your graduate school experience. What was that like, and how was that different from your undergraduate?
Oh, well, grad school was different from undergrad simply because as a grad student, like, I intentionally wasn't on campus. So I was, I lived not far from campus, like